All right, here we go. Mike Davis is the man, founder of the Article 3 Project, former law clerk for Justice Gorsuch, former chief counsel for nominations for the U.S. Senate Committee on the Judiciary. Knows what he is talking about. Michael, welcome back to the show. Great to have you with us, my friend.
Thank you for having me.
Well, Mike, what do you think of the DOJ receiving a criminal referral from Tulsi Gabbard regarding the Russia hoax? Are we going to see a perp walk, Mike Davis, I guess is the question, sir.
Well, I've been coming on your show for 3 years since the Mar-a-Lago raid, and along with 4,500 media hits since then, talking about President Trump and how he has been targeted and persecuted by Obama, Biden, Hillary, Clapper, Comey, Brennan, Susan Rice, the entire Obama regime, it seems, went after President Trump. They made up the Russian collusion hoax. They lied to the FISA court. They illegally spied on Trump campaign. They illegally spied on the President of the United States. They hobbled his presidency. They tried to bankrupt him. They've indicted him 4 times and tried to throw him in prison for life 4 times. They tried to throw him off the ballot in several states unconstitutionally. They tried to take off his head when they underfunded his Secret Service protection, and Joe Biden said to put a bullseye on his head. Twice, Trump almost got killed. Yes, there is going to be accountability because I am going to make damn sure of it. I've spent just about every day for the last 3 years talking about this, and I will spend every day for the next 4 years to make sure people are held accountable.
And is Barack Obama going to be not only implicated but found guilty? Because if it's not, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mike Davis, you know best, and one of our friends, Kathleen, online had texted this, is if it wasn't an official act, if he was just arbitrarily saying, hey, let's take this guy down, Obama could be open to being indicted, correct?
He could be. Now, the president is different from everyone else, as we just learned from the Supreme Court ruling in the presidential immunity case with Trump. For the president's 4 constitutional powers, he is absolutely immune from prosecution. For his official acts, he's presumptively immune, which can be rebutted. So actions taken by President Obama during his presidency would be presumptively immune if he can tie it to an official act. If it's a personal act, he can't. Now, that presumption could be rebutted, as the Supreme Court said. I would say this. Here's the bigger problem for President Obama. This is an ongoing criminal conspiracy, long past the end of his presidency. We saw, for example, that Tish James Fannie Willis and Alvin Bragg, I believe, have both appealed the dismissal of the charges against President Trump. You saw perjury back in 2022 in front of Congress. This is an ongoing criminal conspiracy, and if President Obama participated in any way in this conspiracy after he left office, he is not subject to, he could not raise the defense of presidential immunity. Presidential immunity only covers you when you're in office, your actions while you're in office.
Wow. Mike Davis, also on Mar-a-Lago, if I may, and I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist here, but I heard, and this is not a bad assumption, but did they send Jack Smith down there? Did they go down there looking for something that maybe evidence to recover so they wouldn't be indicted? Maybe like Christopher Wray or the CIA. Was that the original initiative of going after Mar-a-Lago, Mike Davis?
100%, and I have said this every day, it seems, since the Mar-a-Lago raid 3 years ago. The whole point of the Mar-a-Lago raid, the unprecedented, unnecessary, and unlawful home raid on the President of the United States, the former President of the United States, for presidential records he's allowed to have under the Presidential Records Act. The whole point of that was to go get back the damning Crossfire hurricane records that President Trump declassified the day before he left office. He declassified it, but then the FBI, the DOJ, the intel community ran to the White House, to the chief of staff, and said, if you release these records that are declassified, you're going to violate the Federal Privacy Act, which is a crime. So the chief of staff to Trump said, okay, this is the day they left office. The chief of staff said, okay, do your Privacy Act review and get out these Crossfire hurricane records, make them public. Well, they didn't get out the records. Instead, they did the Mar-a-Lago raid to go get them.
And then, in regards to Butler, Pennsylvania, the assassination attempt, and you just said that loosening up on the Secret Service. See, they had to know. I mean, and especially the way they tried to clean it up and wash it down and cremate the body of the attempted assassin. But CNN was there. They never ever covered a rally. They never covered a Trump rally. But they were also there when Roger Stone. When they took down Roger Stone, it was one of those ridiculous takedowns. Why was CNN at Roger Stone's thing? Why was CNN in Butler, Pennsylvania? These media people working with this, for lack of a better phrase, deep state.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you this. President Biden's fingerprints are directly on all 4 criminal indictments against President Trump. It was Jonathan Sue who waived President Trump's claim of constitutional executive privilege. Jonathan Sue was Biden's deputy White House counsel. That led to the 2 Jack Smith indictments. You had Fannie Willis, Big Fannie, and her dumb, unqualified boyfriend, Nathan Wade, actually getting sent to the White House. And Nathan Wade was so dumb, he actually built his time, 16 hours for his time to meet with the Biden White House counsel's office and other White House people in the Biden White House before he brought his indictment.
Wow.
President Trump. They were obviously talking about the Trump indictment, because otherwise Nathan Wade, the Rhodes Scholar, Nathan Wade could not have built his time to the taxpayers of Fulton County if he were not talking about President Trump's case. So he was either talking about Trump's case or he was committing fraud. And then you had Alvin Bragg have Matthew Colangelo get deployed from the number 3 office in the Biden Justice Department to go resurrect that zombie case against Trump. So on all 4 criminal cases, Biden's fingerprints are on it directly. And so then you have to ask, if Biden was willing to throw Trump in prison for the rest of his life for non-crimes, and Biden was willing to underfund Trump's Secret Service protection twice and say that Trump was the gravest threat to democracy who must be stopped at all costs, and then Biden said to put a bullseye on Trump's head. What did Biden think was going to happen when someone came within a millimeter and a millisecond of blowing off Trump's head on national TV? Of course, Joe Biden wanted Trump dead. There's no other conclusion you can make.
Yeah, sure. And Mike, before we let you go, and thank you for your valuable time, sir. The federal court blocking, there's a court blocking the Trump administration from defunding Planned Parenthood clinics. They're still going and form shopping these different judges. That all goes away, right, because of the Supreme Court decision, Mike Davis?
It should. Now, I'll tell you, this is even more egregious. They're not just stopping the Trump administration from defunding Planned Parenthood. This court's purporting to stop Congress, which has the power of the purse. Congress passed a law saying we're going to defund Planned Parenthood, and this activist judge said that that's somehow unconstitutional for Congress with the power of the purse to say that it doesn't want to continue to fund Planned Parenthood.
Mike, I tell you what, we could do an hour on all of this. We so appreciate your expertise on it all, and we always appreciate you taking the time with us, Mike. Thanks so much. Come back when you can, please.
Thank you. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, sir. Mike Davis right there, founder of the Article 3 project. Again, this is a qualified individual, former law clerk for Justice Gorsuch and former chief counsel for nominations for the U.S. Senate Committee on the Judiciary. He knows the inside line. Mike Davis, founder of the Article 3 project.